All right, we're coming up on the home towers here. I'm going to go ahead and deactivate the cruise controller. We're going to see if we can do a landing into our little thing without completely crashing into the wall behind it. So using the aerodynamic drag, I'm just going to slowly come in for a landing and down. That was a perfect landing. Let's go ahead. All right. Welcome back, everybody, to KnowItAllDM Entertainment. I'm KnowItAllDM. How's everybody doing today? I'm doing great, hanging out playing Empyrion Galactic Survival Experimental Alpha 10.6. Now, you'll notice this is a special episode of my my series, and it may or may not become part of the actual series, because you'll notice I'm in, like I said, Experimental 10.6. And so what I've decided that I'm going to do is that I backed up my save game and then went ahead and opted to go ahead into experimental, and I will be playing around with the experimental stuff in this save, which basically is, you know, where I've gotten to in my series, but I will be continuing my series in 10.5 from the point you last saw, and unless you guys decide you want me to continue playing in this. But I'm going to play this sort of like a secondary side let's play. You know, I'm not going to be doing any cheats or anything, so, you know, I'm going to be testing out the system as it exists in creative mode, but I will be doing it here, you know, in the familiar territory of my newly almost complete, if not relatively complete, double tower home towers. So I haven't really done anything since the last episode that you guys saw, and except for I crafted up stuff to make a small vessel. Now, for those of you unfamiliar with 10.6 and the stuff coming into it, there's a few things you'll notice first. First of all, I have a single thruster. So, yes, you can actually create a legitimate working small vessel that works in atmosphere with nothing but a single thruster. Rear-facing thruster at that. And so that's what I'm going to do here to play with the new Aerodynamic Lift system, which is one of my favorite things that they've added to the update. Something that allows me a lot more creativity with my small vessels. Unfortunately, hover vessels, even if they are made exactly the same as a small vessel, will not achieve lift. It's unfortunate, but as it is right now, that's the way it is. I started a little forum thing, a little reply to the stuff, stating my thoughts on this, and, you know, stating that what I would do is make it so that, yes, aerodynamic lift does affect hover vessels. However, because hover vessels are slower, for one, and would have to maintain a forward momentum, for two, that they would be, you know, basically even subpar to small vessels in atmosphere. They have a slower max speed. They have, you know, the capability to, they have the capability to go across the ground, which would be great, you know, until they decide to add wheels to a small vessel, which would be amazing. But I don't think they might add some sort of wheel system to it. But in any case, what I think they ought to do is let hover vessels achieve lift with the aerodynamic lift system in the same way small vessels do. However, I would cap them to a maximum height of, say, 200 meters below the atmosphere, so that when you get up to that limit, you stop using, like it ceases to use it, or maybe just put like a barrier so you just hard stop when you get to that height in a hover vessel. But it would basically make it so that if you built a hover vessel capable of flight, that first of all you would have to design it with your own wings, as the wings like this would still be small vessel only, and it would make it so that hover vessels would not be able to go into space, so they would, you know, still be subpar to small vessels. They'd be a lot slower, and if they are decked out with combat steel, they would be too heavy to achieve lift, or in theory anyway, because hover vessels are a lot heavier than small vessels, even with the same material, which is weird. At least that's what it seems. But in any case, so like I said, what I'm going to do, I'm going to create a small vessel using these parts, and I've already tested out my design in creative mode, but this small vessel will be capable of carrying at least 1,000 units in its cargo hold. So let's just go ahead. I'm going to pop this down here. Let's go ahead, and I'll need the RCS, the rear thruster, and this. And then this will go in the front, along with, actually, I'm going to be pulling things up. So we'll start off by doing that right there, and then logging out and back in to get rid of this little extraneous square that apparently still is in the game. Okay, it's still got the little square, but at least I can see what I'm doing now. Let's go ahead, grab all this stuff again, because the thing, I don't know, it's connected. Anyway, give me all this stuff. Okay, this is going to be, let me use this cockpit so I can upgrade it when needed. There. Let me grab the light, which is going to be there. Okay. Now, let's go ahead and pull all of this up, because I'm not going to need those. Let's go ahead and I'm just going to put 2 of these down. I'm going to utilize this like that and that, and then let's go ahead and I'm going to put the wings on next, because with the wings this is going to, okay, now let's put the mirror mode there. Okay, now I want this here, there, and there. Okay, now we're gonna put this here. We're going to put the RCS in there. We're going to put fuel tank and there. Now we can put this here. Oh, I've got an additional container controller. Okay. I can put this here, there, mirrored. Let's go ahead and utilize this, there, and there. So now we've got just over 1,000, and I think I want, let's see, I'm going to go ahead and small vessel, unlock that, and I'm going to see if I can go make a detector to put on top. I'm going to put it right on top of that there. And The difficult part about this build is that I can't hover it to put the whatchamacallums, the landing gear on. So I'm gonna have to find a creative way to put that on there. Let's just deactivate that together. Okay, let's go make a detector to go on top of this. Now this small vessel is not going to be at the fastest. It'll be close, but it won't be the fastest. Can I learn this? Yes. All right, if I learn that, do I have enough stuff to make it? Yes. Okay. Did I make the detector or did I just... Yeah, there's the detector. There's something I'm going to be using later. Possibly. Let us go ahead. Let's craft that to add a little additional thrust to this small vessel. And I'll go ahead and just grab that. And I'll grab that when it's done. So let's go ahead. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to go ahead and add... Let's see, I'm going to put this here. We'll just go ahead and drop this back in here. We'll drop this back in here. Let's put these back down where they go. I got the base CV stuff down here. And the HV-SV stuff are going to be up there. Okay, so what I'm going to need fuel. Fuel tank is on this side. Right here. I'm going to have to go grab some fuel from the base. You'll notice I added windows to this thing as well. I think I showed that off before in the last episode or something. But it makes it where I can't jump out the sides. Okay. Let's just take... I want to take 50. Okay, we'll take 50. And we'll go ahead and put that in here. And I'm just going to... Let's go ahead and texture this. First, I want to texture all these like this, so that the parts that you don't see are that texture. Then, bada bing, bada boom. Bam, bam. 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 And then on the top, I'm going to go with... Bam. There we go. So, oh, these, let's do that. And then I'm going to do that to indicate that they're sort of cargo boxes. In the build I had tested in creative mode, those were actually cargo boxes. I didn't have the what do you call it? Wireless connection, and I didn't have the sensor. So I'm going to come on, get in here. I'm going to fill it up. I'm going to have to do it this way. Okay. Power it on, and the new HUD is shown. And what I'm going to do in order to put the... I'm just going to flip it over. And now I can actually put these on. And I'm going to want them to be the folding landing gear. I'm going to flip them around because I like them the way they look this way better. So 1, 2... I made 4, but I'm only going to use 3. Okay. And then let's just get in the cockpit and flip back around. There we go, and we're docked. Okay, so let's see, constructor output, we have this. So let's pull this. I'm going to salvage this for parts. And then we're going to utilize this as the thruster. So looking at this, obviously the CPU points are just fine. You can have 6,000 CPU points on a small vessel. On the base, this is just from the core, it's 150,000. Now, I've played around a little bit with the CPU tiers and such. Tier 2 brings you up to 30,000. Tier 3 brings you up to 60,000. So it's actually pretty decent tier system. I just don't like the way you upgrade, having to use 2 of the tier 2 to actually even get tier 2, and then 4 of the tier 3, or tier 4, or 1 of the tier 2, 2 of the tier 3, and 4 of the tier 4, whatever. But in any case, so what we're going to do now, as you can see, the HUD is still active when you're in this mode, but I like the way it looks from in here or out here, either way. But we're going to do it, we're going to view it from out here. And so lift and lift, and we have achieved liftoff. Now, as you can see, we are flying perfectly fine in the air because of the aerodynamic lift system. In Alpha 10.5, if you leveled off like this, I would actually be falling. But as you can see by the top left corner of the new HUD, it says I am gaining altitude. I will attain orbit in 850, just less than 850 meters. And as you can see, I am going further and further away from the ground, but the ground is the base of the ground. So when I go over a mountain, it gets closer, etc., etc. Whereas the little meter marker on the left is how high you are from the what do you call it? How high you are from sea level. Now, on the right, you'll see the thrust indicator as such. And there's a little thing at the bottom, which the circle, if you press shift, will activate the boost, which speeds you up faster. So if I slow to a near stop, you'll notice I will start getting closer to the ground. I'm going to start falling. And then if I thrust, I can thrust up to max speed really quickly. And then there we go. Now the little 0% over there, and that's with the shift using the boost, which used to activate your cruise control. Now, if you press Control W, you'll see it activates your cruise control, which brings it up. And you can actually set that to any specific percentage, and your ship will try to attain that percentage. Now, there are 3 different types of, what do they call it? Cruise, drag, whatever. And if I press the I button once, you'll notice in the lower right that the little plane thing with the up and down, I press it once, the up, down, forward, and back will deactivate, which will prevent me from slowing down or something. It's the brake. It deactivates all those thrusters. And if I press it a second time, it will deactivate the lower thrusters. Now, this does absolutely nothing with this one, with this vessel, because it only has a rear thruster. But it's basically not so much deactivating them as it's just not allowing them to use the auto brake. And you can see it's also got a cruise icon there as well. So I'm going to set the max cruising altitude. I'm going to level out, and then I'm going to aim slightly down so that I can, I'm not going up anymore. Now, right below me is something that I uncovered earlier, and we're going to come down and take a look at this. This is a Polaris base, and this that's right in front of me is something that I have not yet seen apart from in this playthrough. Oh, there's a little lag right there. And so we're going to come and we're going to land right here, and I'm going to level out, let the air whatever come to me, and let's get to the other side away from those spiders. But this little Polaris structure is basically a massive mech. Oh, there's a lot of spiders. I guess I'm just going to have to kill some spiders. Let's come over to here. Maybe they followed me from the other side, which I guess is possible. Let's land right here. Okay, landed. Power off. Shotgun out. Let's just use this. There's one down. Are you gonna keep coming at me, or are you just gonna, you know... I guess I get some food from this. Where's that last spider? I hear you. There you are. Okay. So this little mech thing, it's a Polaris structure. It really needs to be lowered by 1/2 a block. Because it's like hovering, it looks like. And if it were 1/2 a block down, it would be awesome. Oh, there's more spiders. Let's shotgun them. Oh, when you get low, your stamina turns yellow. That's nice. Hey, I'm making Polaris friends. So, but yeah, this needs to be lowered by 1/2 a block. But if I'm going to come over to here, and you can actually see there's this little ramp thing here. I think this is supposed to be like a little bit deeper in the ground, but I don't know. And in here, you've got a lot of these little mechs spawning and such. I could loot these, but it would injure my Polaris standing. I can't access the small constructor, but I can access the armor locker. Not that I need it right now. But other than that, this mech really doesn't have much. It is a major defensive structure. As you can see, there we go. You've got those there, and then what is it? When this is open, do they... Oh, it toggles them, it looks like. That's interesting. I didn't notice those little turret things before. Do they come out over the whole thing, or is it just... If I come... And they close. Okay, so these just deactivate when that happens. That's interesting. But these are plasma cannons, or I guess, yeah, they're plasma cannons now. I don't know if this is... that's a rocket turret. Yeah, so we don't really want to mess with this. Not that we would mess with Polaris anyway, because they're our allies, or they will be. But when I came by here, all these guys just started dropping out off the thing, which was really cool. It looked like it was deploying them. But this is a new POI that I haven't yet seen, and it's really cool seeing them add new POIs and stuff. That was in Alpha 10.5. But let's continue our search of the planet. I think I'm going to just head... I don't know if I want to go into Xerax territory. I'm probably going to just head south from here. And we're going to try to uncover some stuff down this way. I am still looking for another... what do you call it? Another radiation biome. Because I have yet to find one that does not have Xerax in it. The only two I know of are the two big one here and the little one here. I think this is the radiated fog biome, which is the specific biome where the in-game missions or the in-thing missions are, but the missions don't exist in this playthrough, so I'm just going to have to attack the POIs as they are. But, Yeah, I don't see anything on my radar. I've discovered most of everything, I think. But it's really cool having the capability to create basically an airplane with the small vessels where you can just activate it. I don't like the cruise as much because you have to start back from zero. But I do like the fact that you can just use a single thruster and create a fully functional small vessel now. And this thing is a lot cheaper than the other one. If you look at this saved, this is my old mini pod. Pretty much just the basics of what you needed for a small vessel before. And as you can see, it's not that expensive. 84, 71, 51, 24. And, oh, there's a thing to discover westward. Okay, we're going to head out west and see what we can discover. But if you look at the mini plane, it's a lot cheaper. 54, 51, 26, and 13. So, I mean, it uses a lot less iron, a lot less carbon substrate, a little bit less silicon, and a decent amount less copper. And you basically have the exact same thing, except for it has to go forward continuously in order to fly rather than being able to hover like the mini pod. That's basically it. I mean, other than that, you know, it's the same design. Of course, this one has a larger cargo box on it. The other one had a larger cargo box as well. Instead of 4 cargo boxes like on the mini pod, it had, well, there's a lot around. Instead of 4 cargo boxes like the mini pod, it's just got the one large one, or in the one that I had made before, 2 large one or 2 small ones and 1 large one. Wow, we're still discovering a lot of stuff. I did come out with the hover vessel and do a lot of discovery here, but I figured I would make a small vessel in the next episode anyway. If I end up not doing it in 10.6, I'll probably end up just making sort of a mini pod style small vessel in order to be able to whatchamacallit, fly around the planet. Yeah, that's what you call it. But yeah, this is a small vessel. It's really cool, and I think I'm going to keep on discovering things, and then I'm going to head back to base and see what else with the update we can go over. Alright, we're coming up on the home towers here. I'm going to go ahead and deactivate the cruise controller. We're going to see if we can do a landing into our little thing without completely crashing into the wall behind it. So using the aerodynamic drag, I'm just going to slowly come in for a landing and down. That was a perfect landing. Let's go ahead and log off. And nothing got damaged. I don't know if okay, so what they've done is any single player has collision damage active no matter what the playfield, whereas normally it's only active in PvP playfields. I don't know if it's active on mine because it was started in 10.5, but in any case, I like our little small vessel here. So, yeah, it's a decent little thing. But in any case, we're going to take a quick look at one of the other major things with the update that people are talking about, which also another thing I'm excited for, though, the CPU system, which we mentioned a little bit earlier. When you go into your control panel, you'll notice there's a CPU statistics slot over here, and that will show everything in your CPU statistics. Now, this is your whole... You see, I don't get that exactly. Like, blocks use CPU, I guess. I don't know. I don't think so, but it seems to. I don't know. For some reason, I'm guessing, this is my theory, that they assume that every block is filled with wirings and such, which is why stuff, you can just plop it down anywhere. But honestly, I don't know. I have no idea. You've got walls, you've got thin slopes, you've got railings. It shows all your hull and calculates a CPU based off of your hull, and then seems to add it to the CPU of your whatchamacallits. Now, 6 turrets, but I've got more than just 2 concrete blocks. So I don't get exactly how, like, what these numbers mean. These numbers could be the number of CPU usage per, but over down here, that's the number of blocks that you have. I don't know. It's very weird. But this number is always the total CPU. I honestly, I'm perplexed by the statistics menu over here. I understand devices and stuff give you CPU and, whatever. We're at tier 1 right here, but then that's tier 2, 3, and 4. But right now, I've got 150,000 CPU. I'm using 96,000, so I'm doing pretty good for right now. I want to do just a little test thing here, okay? So if I come over here and let's say I pull up, I just do 1 steel block. Let's see, there's a concrete block. Okay. So looking at the CPU statistics over here, it says steel block large, 2, and then 3,192. So if I put 1 more steel block on here, steel blocks to 3,204. So 192 became 204. So that's 6 points. So what's the number over here? Okay, so that added 6 points. Maybe it's sides of the block? I don't know. And then, or no, it added more than that because 204, 92, that is 12. Is it 2 per side of the block? Let's see. Concrete blocks, 26,115. 26,130, which means that's 15. So I don't know. It's weird that the blocks 96,537, 96,522. Yeah, that's 15 points. But I don't know what these numbers on the side mean over here, in the little parenthesis things. It's very, very, very strange. I wish they would explain this more. Like, there's a good bit over here where they could go, oh, I'd explain this is that. But it doesn't. So, I don't know. And it's weird because when you mouse over these, it doesn't say... Oh. Let me put all this back into here and connect to that. It doesn't say anything about what CPU usages they are. So, I don't know. I have no idea anything about that. This I can understand. That is the number of devices I have. I've got 6 turrets. I've got 1 generator. I've got, 5 containers, etc., etc., etc. But yeah, very perplexing. But at least I don't have to worry about the CPU usage until I reach 150,000, in which case I will need at that point to come into miscellaneous and learn this, which I could learn right now. I could. I don't need to, so I'm not going to. But so there's not a whole lot of differences. Let's take a look at this. What's its CPU? Okay, it's over its 5,000 CPU usage. So what I am going to want to go ahead and learn the hover vessel one, which is this hover vessel tier 2. Okay, and these should be able to be crafted without any special things. It requires 2 cores and a flux coil. Not bad. This requires a small optronic bridge, which is something that you have to find. So let's go ahead and do 1 hover vessel extender so that we can extend our hover vessel's CPU capacity. And I think I'm going to just put that... Let's see. If I power it on, it says 100% efficiency. I don't think the CPU usages are enforced right now. For some reason. Let's see. Because they said it's active automatically, but obviously it's not. CPU. Okay. I don't know if that's gonna do anything. Let's see. What was the other thing? Options. Would it be under options? Game options. Geopt. All right. Current value is not the default. So these are the ones that are not the default. Apparently, all right. Let's see. Game options. Enable CPU points is false. So geopt set. What is the parameter name? I guess the parameter name is enable CPU points and then true. So geopt, let's see. Enable CPU points is true. Okay. So now this is at 92% because of how far over we are. Now that might be lower in the final release of it because they said that it's less impact from CPU usage overage. But I'm going to go ahead and add the extender anyway. I think I'm going to add the extender right up in here. Right in front of the core, in fact. And I'll probably end up adding all the extenders that I need right up in here so that all the CPU stuff is all up front. Let's go ahead and there's this. Now, are all the secondary extenders... Okay, the tier 3 extenders for the hover vessel are 1x1s. No, 2x1x1. It just looks different there. Okay. So this hover vessel here might only be able to be extended. Let's see, 1, 2, 3. I might just be able to extend this one. There we go. And let's just go ahead. Well, I don't need to colorize it or anything. But I would like to go ahead and put some steel blocks here and there. And then I'll remove these later if I need them to expand it more. But there we go. Now we are at 10,000 out of that. So I am going to need to extend it more, but I'm not yet. Well, I don't have the unlock points to unlock it. And we would need to find whatchamacallit thing. The let me land you. It would require the movement systems off. The circuit thing. What did they call it? The small electronic bridge. I'd need a small electronic bridge for that. I would need 2 small electronic bridges altogether. And then I would need 4 small electronic matrices for the even further upgrade. Which I don't think we're going to get to that point. I think we're going to be fine with what we have for now anyway. And then with upgrading it to the tier 3 is all we really ought to need to do. The small vessel is not going to be upgraded because I'm going to make a different small vessel for going into space and such. This is basically just our ground explorer, our terrestrial explorer. And so when I create a capital vessel, I will be taking it to explore the other planets and such because it has a high max speed of 70. As you can see when I power it on the top right, max speed is 70 in the atmosphere, which I believe the 70 max is the maximum any small vessel can have. I'm in the atmosphere. I'm not positive about that. Let's make us some food. Let's cook that up. But in any case, where's my meats? There we go. In any case, there are a few other things that they've done, that they've changed. One of which, as you'll be able to see, no, I left it in there, with these here, is that they have changed the model of the thing, and it actually puts a window on it. And I'm guessing they'll change this eventually too. But yeah, I'm planning on using these. I don't know if I'm going to use them here, but I do want to see if I can use them up there to sort of like fill in. Yeah, I don't know how big I'm going to need this. But I'm going to want, I'm wanting to try to put these, like, this direction sort of in the ground down here to close up the top here. But since this is an odd number, I don't know if I'm going to have to, it's going to be weird. I'm probably not going to end up doing that. I'm probably going to end up just using these down here, like this. There Gonna need it to be one wider than that, so 10 by 5. And I'm gonna pull it out like here, and I'm gonna extend these out a little bit further. And yeah, something like that. I'll probably end up doing that. Actually, let me just see how that would work. If I... Okay, I'm going to want to symmetry it this way here. So now if I can just pull all these up. I'm going to extend it out one further. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab all these blocks. Actually put these back in here. I don't need those. I'm going to use concrete. And we will extend this out to here. And then do that. And that. And I really ought to have done it over here as well. Like that. And I will probably change the rest of it. Okay. So now to put these here. Now we've got one on either side. And I think that's actually pretty cool. Looking at it like this, we can actually have a garage in here. And I'm going to have to definitely use sensors to open those because they don't open quite as fast as the others. But that's going to make a real difference if I sort of put a roof over this part. That will create the little garage area and let me walk back and forth without, you know, a whole bunch of weirdness. And yeah, I think I might go ahead and do that off camera. But I'm only going to be doing that in this one right now. But yeah, I guess that's going to be it for this little update thing. If there's something in the update that you want me to cover that I have not covered, let me know in the comments down below. If you want to, if there's any comments or anything, just leave them in the comments down below. Yeah, if you like the video, hit the like button. And if you want to see more of Empyrion Galactic Survival, go ahead and subscribe. I'm KnowItAllDM, and as always, y'all have a good day now.